Now when you do part A, you can do the exhaust up there. When you do part B, you can do the exhaust back here. So my exhaust, properly mounted and secure with nuts, bolts, and clamps. There's no cracks, no holes, and no soot trail to indicate a leak. My fuel tank, properly mounted and secure with nuts, bolts, and straps. No dents, no cracks, no leaks. My fuel cap is held in place with a retaining chain. The seal on the inside is not cut, torn, frayed, or leaking. Now in these trucks, we ask you don't remove any fuel caps, don't pull no dipsticks, don't pull no caps off anything, okay? So you can just point and talk about it. That's all you can do on part B over here. You can't talk about the doors, steps, or anything. Gear bracket, properly mounted and secure with nuts and bolts. It is not twisted, bent, or damaged. My door opens and latches properly. My door hinges, properly mounted and secure with nuts and bolts. They are not twisted, bent, or damaged. The weather strip around my door, properly mounted and secure, not cut, torn, frayed, or leaking. My steps, properly mounted and secure with nuts and bolts, not twisted, bent, or damaged. There is no oil, grease, or contaminants on my step that could cause me to slip and fall. So, part A, I do the frame up there. Part B, I do the frame here. If you get part D, which is everything, it don't hurt to do it twice, all right? My frame, front to back, properly mounted and secure with nuts and bolts, not twisted, bent, or damaged, and has no illegal welds. All of my cross members from front to back, properly mounted and secure with nuts and bolts. They are not twisted, bent, or damaged. My catwalk, properly mounted and secure with nuts and bolts, not cracked, broken, or missing. There is no oil, grease, or contaminants that could cause me to slip and fall. Excuse me. Appreciate it. My drive shaft, properly mounted and secure, not twisted, bent, or damaged, and it has no foreign debris wrapped around it. Both of my universal joints, properly mounted and secure with nuts and bolts. They are properly greased, not twisted, bent, or damaged. Also, they have no foreign debris wrapped around them. Spring hanger, front and back. Once you start doing these axles, the suspension, you pretty much see they're spring about the same thing all the way back. So like I said, you can call it a spring hanger or spring mount, front and back, properly mounted and secure with nuts and bolts, not cracked, broke, or damaged. My bushing within, properly mounted and secure with nut and bolt. It is not cracked, broken, or missing. My leaf springs, properly mounted and secure, not cracked, broke, missing, shifted, or misaligned. And they are held in place with 2 U-bolts and 4 nuts. And they are not cracked, broken, or loose. My airline coming to my brake chamber, properly mounted and secure, not cut, torn, frayed, or leaking. My brake chamber itself, properly mounted and secure with a nut, bolt, and a clamp. It has no dents, no cracks, and no leaks. On the back side of my brake chamber, I got my slack adjuster, push rod, push pin. They are properly mounted and secure, not cracked, broke, or twisted. If I was to test my push rod, I would chop my wheels, release my brakes, and I should have no more than 1 inch of pull on my push rod. Now remember, the brake chamber operates your brakes. They're kind of hard to see because you can't get your head up in here, but don't forget your brake drum, brake lining. So my brake drum, brake lining, properly mounted and secure, not cracked, broke, or damaged. There is no oil, grease, or contaminant inside my drum that could affect my braking. And my brake lining should be no less than 1/4 inch thick. My inner rim, my outer rim, no dents, no cracks, no illegal welds. All 4 sidewalls, no cuts, no tears, no bulges. The tread of my tires are evenly worn. There should be no less than 2/32 of tread depth. The bead of my tires are seated to my rims, and they are not leaking. My bud wheels are evenly spaced. There's no foreign debris between my tires and my tires are not rubbing. Now I know in that paperwork it talks about bud spacing, but what they want, my bud wheels are evenly spaced. There's no foreign debris between my tires, and my tires are not rubbing. My outer valve stem, inner valve stem, properly mounted and secure, not twisted, bent, or leaking. They should have caps. If I was to check my tire pressure, each tire should have at least 100 psi. All my lug nuts, properly mounted and secure, not cracked, broke, or missing. No rust trails indicating loose lugs. No shiny threads indicating cross threading. No distortion around the nuts showing excessive wear to my rim. Axle seal, properly mounted and secure with nuts and bolts. It is not cracked, broken, or leaking. Mud flap, properly mounted and secure with nuts and bolts. It's not cut, torn, or frayed. It's not dragging the ground, not rubbing against the tire. Now this is the automatic. If you're testing automatic, this is the test truck. The manual will have DOT reflective tape up here, so make sure you talk about your DOT reflective tape. My reverse lights, properly mounted and secure, clear in color, not cracked, broken, or missing. My left turn signal, right turn signal, four-way flashers, tail lights, brake lights are all properly mounted and secure, red in color, not cracked, broken, or missing. My tag light, properly mounted and secure, clear in color, not cracked, broken, or missing. Now again, this is the automatic. The manual will have two reflectors right here. Make sure you talk about the reflectors. Now that'd be the end of part B.